Place. Good morning. Good morning, morning. Good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adanna Combie, and we continue conversation this morning with our guest, and we're speaking with Nickocy Phillips, TT Ambassador for TT Youths Will Arise, and we're speaking about the 68th session of the Commission on the Status of Women. Good morning, Nickocy, and welcome.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you, the host. Good morning to Tobago. Good morning to Trinidad by extension. And I must say good morning to Switzerland and the international countries that are looking on at the Tobago updates right now for this
That's
interview.
That's right. That's right. Thank you, and welcome to everyone who is viewing this morning. How has it been where you are there, participating in this convention? What is your position and what is happening? We just want a few updates. First of all, we want to know what this convention is all about. Let's start there.
Okay. Well, for everybody knows, since 2018, I've been attending the this conference was the 68th session of the Commission on the Status of Women and Young Girls. It's a conference that all NGOs around the world, all leaders around the world come to the United Nations. There's the United Nations events and there's the parallel events. This year, I led a small delegation to the parallel events to partake and to foster a relationship with all the NGOs. And we meet up with some high profile officials. And it's about gender equality, it's about feminine equality, it's about learning about, the equality between men and women, the rights of women, the different meetings that we went to abroad. So it's a wide spectrum of laws that women face around the world. With your reproductive rights, the right to marry for forced child marriages, all these things. And the delegation and I led that team, and we would have done excellently well at the United Nations. So that is what it's all about. And persons who would have known about it know that, this is a conference I go to every year, but this year I decided to take on the mantle with the team itself so they can see what I have been doing, the amount of meetings per day, 13 meetings per day. I am glad that the team that I led to the Delhi conference, they were able to see how I managed 13 to 20 meetings per day and had to run from meetings to meetings.
Right, this song's very engaging. Some of the things we want to talk about is what are some of the topics? I know you mentioned a large group of topics. Well, for this year and this particular session, what topics were you engaged in, and what are some of the outcomes of the discussions you've had?
Okay, well, I was invited by Pink Africa Foundation, that's a Nigerian team, to speak on the TED table. I was a speaker for gender equality, feminine equity, financial equity, and the call for girls on their, I think it's cycle or something. And then one of the other delegates would have spoken on gender-based violence. And after my presentation and our presentation, just the presentation alone and the introduction of Trinidad and Tobago, hearing Trinidad and Tobago because they did not know that there was a Tobago. A lot of them said, "Well, where is Tobago? We never heard it. It's Trinidad." Just by that, we hit the ground and listen. As soon as my presentation was finished, that was it. We were introduced to speak at other meetings. We would have gone to different meetings, and some of the topical. We went to a meeting where they had poverty alleviation, which is the empowerment of girls through financial literacy, where they teach girls how to, manage money from the beginning to end, how to do businesses. We went to a meeting where is no woman left behind. That's an Australian meeting. No woman left behind, closing the gender inclusion gap in the eye health. We also went to a meeting called the Buddha's Light International Association. That is a mixture of Buddhism and Australia working together to put on community projects to help the young people away from crime, away from all these negative things that we hear about our young people. We also went to some meetings. A lot of meetings that we went to this year were South African meetings where we would have done excellently well, to the point that I was invited right after I made a presentation because they were talking about forced marriages and they were talking about the women running away and stuff. And I made a point to them and saying that every year we focus on the rights of women and we're not focusing on integrating the men to understand the rights of women, and also we are focusing too much on the women and not forgetting that men are abused, men are being beaten up. We can't go by the police station because they will laughed at. And I want to form it across the board that gender equality is not just about the rights of women but the rights of men as well. And after that, I was invited by the Miss Yvonne Apio Bramble Amolo. She's the member of parliament for Switzerland, the Presidential Social Democratic Party of Migrant Zurich. She invited me to speak at a conference, which is the European Minority Parliament Caucus. And the subject is about the pre-conference consultation on the UN Summit on Futures. And my presentation, I was asked to be the speaker on the consultation to do at the United Nations, shaping the future, amplifying minority voice through political, traditional, and youth leaders for sustainable development. And when she saw me, I spoke at one of her meetings. And after we started dialoguing, because she did not know what to make, well, she said, listen, I need to have your NGO speak at the meeting. I need to have you there. And she did. She called me about 2 days or 3 days ago and said that we got the request, the government will want you to speak at the conference. So what I did as a right-thinking citizen, I would have extended the courtesy. I asked her to extend the courtesy to the THA because I do not want to be the person that, oh, I'm going to speak for THA, I'm going to speak for Tobago alone. No. I asked the Honorable Minister to extend the courtesy to the Tobago House of Assembly to give them, being that they were elected in office and being that they're the ones who are running the island of Tobago, giving that person from the THA the opportunity to speak. And there's a part where they're saying the traditional voices through parliamentary stuff. So I said I will extend that, and I did reach out to the Honorable Chief Secretary right away. I called him while he was on an event and he called me back and we spoke on the phone. He said he will look into it and he will see what he could do, because I don't want to be out here representing the false narrative that I am in charge of Trinidad or in charge of Tobago. I also wanted to give Tobago that opportunity to, we are now going to Switzerland. Now we have this conference. The conference is from the 11th to the 15th, but we have to get there from the 9th to the 16th. And this is an opportunity for Tobago now to mark it, because the Honorable Minister, along with other ministers I've met on different platforms, they are coming to Tobago for October Carnival and for Cornucopia as well. So I want to give this, I wanted to extend the courtesy. I did extend the courtesy. I spoke to the Chief Secretary and I'm waiting for a response, and all information was passed on to him and the person who they will choose to send to this conference alongside myself.
Kosi, you seem to be having a really, really wonderful time where you are, and I can sense and feel your passion as you speak about the issues and you speak about the relationships that you have formed and the fact that you want to involve so many other persons in the relevant and pertinent discussions. So after these discussions, how do you see policies being implemented in the various countries under the UN who are participating in these events?
Well, what we are doing, the delegation that I led, each individual who attended a meeting, they have to write a report. The report must also include how do you use these events to help Trinidad and Tobago. How do you then pass the information on to other NGOs? And that is a must. So when I return back into the country, not very soon, because after I'm finished in Switzerland, I was also invited by the Minister of Culture and the Arts and Tourism of Sierra Leone to come to a youth summit in Sierra Leone. So after I come back from Switzerland, I have to go to Sierra Leone. And then as we were speaking here, I just came off of a conference in South Africa by one of the African ministers who would have invited me. So what is going to happen? We are going to see what we can do to work with other NGOs. The problem is going to be money in terms of putting it on, but I don't think money should be a problem. I think once we call upon the NGOs of Trinidad and Tobago to attend a meeting, and we have small little meetings and stuff with them to pass all the information, and not only passing all the information, is to then now form that NGO base, because presently, we are looking at an NGO-based inter-Caribbean organization of funding, where we could come with all the NGOs who wants to be a part, to be a funding arm to help each other in NGO around Trinidad and Tobago. So it is going to be a lot of work. We are seeing in Trinidad and Tobago, especially Tobago, where our young people are defiant and they're not getting opportunities. There is a lot of opportunities outside of Trinidad and Tobago, but we must bring the opportunities back to Trinidad and Tobago, whereby many of our people are leaving to go to the United States and other foreign countries. And we are not with understanding that despite leaving, what is your contribution going to be in the next few years? Are you going to come back as a senior citizen and expect to get a pension from Trinidad and Tobago without giving contributions? So I want to make sure that whatever we have learned, the partnerships that we have built with the NGOs, we are going to pass them along, not only to the NGO level, but to the parliamentary level, because as I said, I'm also into politics. So some of these initiatives I will be putting towards my political arena when I skip and jump to that level at that point in time.
Thank you so much, Nickocy, for all this information, as I said, for your passion and your enthusiasm. And I do wish you continued success as you continue out there representing Trinidad and Tobago, your NGO, and the matters and topics that are of importance and relevance. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Nickocy Phillips, Ambassador for TT Youth Will Arise, on the 68th session of the Commission on the Status of Women and Girls. This is where we have to end our conversation this morning. As again, we say thank you. But this is not where we end our programming. Of course, we continue on with Tobago Notes, and then we head on over to GMT with Candice Jackson. So we ask that you stay with us, and please, while you stay with us, tell a friend. And as you tell a friend, remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.